So when I was younger, I was as interesting as a box of stale crackers. For every year until around high school, when the teacher asked what everybody's hobby or favorite thing to do was, I'd always say or write sleep. Looking back, I probably had 5 other things to write instead, but it was honestly something I look forward to every day. All I ever did as a kid was stay up, sleep in, rinse and repeat. When I was younger, I had nightmares pretty often, but I'm built a little different. That stuff never really weighed me down or anything. I kind of forget and move on from those kinds of things. So when people talk about nightmares, it's always the waking up in a cold sweat, the images from your sleep terrorizing your reality. But like, what's the fuss really? You see my hand? Ain't nothing shaking. Other than the occasional zombies, deaths, and the supernatural, my brain either made really boring, mundane dreams or the most gut-wrenching, creative, psych ward levels of crazy storytelling. But that's not the story I want to tell y'all. I'm not even at the meat of the video. I know y'all see that title and thumbnail. Nightmares. Let's really talk about my first paralysis demon. Alright. I'm proud to say this, but I'm a back sleeper. Not like vampire coffin style, but more like a starfish. Alright, well, more like one leg up and one arm on my chest style. But on my back, nonetheless. Fun fact, from what I was told at least, back sleepers are more susceptible to nightmares and paralysis demons. Something about the weight of gravity pulling on your chest, simulating pressure with the combination of our brain creating something horrendous to match. And that's what I want to talk about, folks. I've personally and luckily only experienced one. So let's start around summer of freshman year. My sister and I used to share a room, and it looked a little like this. Beds opposite each other, except my bed mostly covered up the window and her bed mostly covered up 2 sets of closets. The feng shui in this room is absolutely horrendous, by the way, I know, but we gotta make do. So at all times, we had a half-covered closet door wide open with junk inside, and a little sink space that at night turned into a creepy twisted portal to the demon realm. Now, I had gotten used to that creepy corner. We had so much junk that the closet never closed properly, so I just never faced that direction after 12. As long as I'm not actively staring at the creatures in the dark, I'm set. So my bed, like me, was always a mess. My sister and I are just alike because our beds always had stuffed animals and blankets taking up all the space. I had a giant brown bear pressed against the window as a buffer and a mound of blankets against the wall and everything else strewn about. This night particularly, I had stayed up pretty late and was kind of laying down, but like sitting upright against the knee of my bear and had drifted asleep, accidentally facing the direction of the aforementioned creepy corner. This is where the memory becomes unreliable. The details of what I'm gonna say might be a little confusing, but just follow along. You know how sometimes in the dark, your mind makes monsters out of the shapes of like your clothing on a chair? I open my eyes slowly, taking in the room bathed in moonlight, the closet in full view. My eyes dart around, the passing of cars warping and distorting the shadows. Suddenly in my own self-aware prison, I frantically stare at my unmoving body. As I fail to move as much as a finger, the cold AC air softly pattering my skin. My eyes return to the dark corner of the room. After sitting alone in my own thoughts, I finally breathed a sigh. As I sat in my quiet room, I simply stared at the closet. The usual ambiguous shapes of clothes and junk seemed no different than any other night. As I stared longer at the unchanging closet, I feel even more content and safe, given my current state. The longer I stare at the same thing, my eye starts to disassociate, when something catches my eye. A long dark finger reaches out of the darkness. My heart begins to race. The bony hand grasping and gripping the edge of the closet door. Slowly, a tall, white, beady-eyed skeletal figure makes its way out of my closet. Once on its 2 feet and standing upright, it only stood there, motionlessly, its cold, piercing white eyes staring at mine. The quietness of the room now replaced with the pounding of my heart. Slowly, it approached. My eyes were wide. I'm like splayed out. This beady-eyed Ozempic Enderman basically designed paralysis demon was just staring at me. There's no way I was gonna die to this dude while my sister was fully knocked out. I was worried he was gonna eat her, but dude was just staring at me. He started slowly approaching and I do exactly what you think I'd do in that situation. I'm probably 16, 17, and this scary tall monster is just slowly but menacingly approaching me. Don't worry though, this is the part where the story gets real boring for y'all. Luckily, my body just moves. Like, I don't control it. Gravity. I fall off the bear's legs and slightly slip at a solid 35 degrees and end up face planting against the window. So now I was just paralyzed staring out my window. And I know what that sounds like. It's very anticlimactic, I know, but like that's seriously what happened. The demon creature didn't even really attack me. Maybe it was dishonorable to attack me, turned away, but like I was fine after. I slowly ended up being able to close my eyes and fell asleep, mushed in between my bed and window. And in the morning, I woke up in the same position. It was a little weird, like, but my body was in the same spot during my supposed attack. Very interesting, but that's it. Alright, and to be a little transparent, I have had other sleep paralysis demons, but they're boring. Like I said, ain't nothing scary. Maybe it's because I have knowledge, willpower, and emotion on my sides, but like, who is sending these lame ass dudes? Like in the moment, I'm always, but when I wake up, it's just whatever. Like come on now, like I need something scarier, you know, like ah! But yeah, thank you for watching my video, and I hope you sleep well.
I'll be watching you.